Hi everyone, welcome to the Artifact Optimiser guide. Now I will link this in the description below, so all you need to do is click on the link, or you can just Google Tap Titans 2 Comp Diem. Firstly, I would recommend to thank or you can also donate or support the people who created this. They do it for free, they do it as a hobby, they don't get paid for this, and they put so much work and effort into this, all the tools, guide support. So if at a minimum, if you do want to support, there's Patreon there for Dreams, Taco, Patreon, Discord, you can say hi, and at a minimum, if you turn off ad blocker, so at least displays adverts to help support this, the more support they get, the more up to date and more tools we can get to help with this game. So you can go to Tools Corner, and there's at the top here, it says Optimizers. You go to Artifact Optimizers. There's tons of other tools, but today we're doing the most commonly used, which is the Artifact Optimizer. So when you click on that, there's several different things you can use. Now you can save file import. You can import file through the game and it should upload automatically. It hasn't worked so much with me, so sometimes I do it manually. I'll show you both ones. I'll see if it works today. So to import it, you go up here to where the cog is, that's the top left, click that, go to services, and then it's got export here, bottom left. Click on that, and you know you've done it correctly because it will say copy to clipboard at the top left of the screen. So a little notification will pop up. So you click that, little notification comes up, says copy to clipboard. Then you go to the save import file, so paste your data here on import and click to import. So you just click on the first line and you control V if you're using BlueStacks or some sort of emulator, or if you're inside your mobile phone, again hold the screen button and then it'll come up paste, so you can do multiple options. So once you put it in like that, so you paste it in, click to import. Data imported, so it would be highlighted green to say if it's done successfully. So it'll pop up here. Now you also know if you've done it successfully because it should update all the information. You can double check. So for example, lifetime relics, you can double check this 214.7k. So if I can check, I can go to my stats, so the hero stats, and I'll go to relics earned 214.71, so I know that's correct. I'll go to artifacts. I've got 25 artifacts collected, so that's worked. So it has updated. So it's also updated relics of BOS with 37%. So I go to my books of shadows and I look, and it's at 39, slightly off, but I can always update that. So you just double check that it all matches. So it looks like it's matched successfully. The artifacts look to be the same. The lifetime relics the same. So it has worked. So that import has worked this time. Now, if it hasn't, I'll show you how to do it manually. So these blue sections are what you need to fill in first. So this blue section is the information it uses to tell you what artifacts to level up and how much, and that kind of information. So starting from the top, when it says lifetime relics, that's all the relics you accumulated. So that's all the relics you've earned, spent, and leveled completely since you started the game. To find this information, you go to the hero tab, which is the blue one. Right at the top, it's got stats. You click on that and it'll have relics earned. So this one here, it says relics earned. That's your lifetime relics. So as I mentioned, it does match. It says I've got 214,000.71. So you literally just type in exactly as it says, even with the K. So you type in exactly as it says. And you know if you've done it wrong, because it will come up with an error message. So just to give you an example, if you put like say 21, your lifetime relics is too low for your BS level of your number of artifacts owned and enchanted. So there's a little error come up that basically says the number you've got is way low compared to the level of your BS and other things that you've submitted on the form. So you know you've done it wrong because a little error message will pop up. So once you've typed it in, I said if I don't put the K in, it goes to default because it thinks it's in 100. So you have to put exactly what it says. So if you got a numeric, again, it will say something like 214E01 or E010 or E0 something. If you're doing scientific, again, you type in exactly as it says. So you put in the first digit number, E, and the last digit number. So copy exactly. If you do alphabetically, again, it will say exactly the same. So it'd be like A, D, Z or A, H, T or something like that, or some alphabetic order. You just copy exactly as it says. The artifacts discovered, You can find it in multiple places. You can go to your first tab, go to your profile, which is the top left icon, and it will say at the top there, artifacts collected. The most easiest and common way would be go to your artifact tab, which is the purple tab, and at the top here it says how many you've collected out the total amount. So there's 103 artifacts currently in the game. I've collected 25, and that's discovered artifact tab. This collection preview is the ones coming up that still need to be discovered. So make sure you've got discovered artifacts, and it says it here. So I've got 25 out of 103. The next one is artifact salvage. Now you can salvage artifacts. What this means is that the artifact you've already discovered or collected, you click on it and you can spend diamonds to salvage. So that basically means it will get rid of the artifact, go back to the collection preview slot. So it means you have to find it again or collect it again. But in return, you do get your relics back. The amount of relics you get back is depending on what current level you're at, what max stage you're at, and the level of the artifact at the time. And the cost of the diamonds, again, it depends on what level the artifact is. So a high level will cost more and lower level will cost less. Now, I wouldn't personally recommend to salvage the item. Reason being is that you need to have all artifacts before you can enchant them. So regardless if they're bad or good, you need them all anyway. And the cost to salvage them, especially earlier on, is ridiculously expensive. For example, like this, it's 930 diamonds. You can use that for buying pets or chests or much more important items than essentially this. And the cost of relics you get back, I can get this amount of relics in one run. So the cost, it takes like 50, it will take like 20-30 minutes to get this, and there's really no point to waste to salvage the diamonds just for the sake of saving 20 or 30 minutes of run time. So I personally wouldn't salvage it, but if you have, then you put down the amount of items that you've salvaged in here. Enchantments own, that would only happen once you've got all 103 artifacts. So once you've got all 103, you can enchant them, which basically means it boosts the artifacts, it turns them gold and gives them more power. Again, it will give another indication on that panel of how many you've enchanted. So when you go in game, once you reached 103, it will say enchanted, and then it'll give you the number you've enchanted, and you just put that in as well. Type of build, you should know what build you're using. If you don't, I urge you to use a build. If you don't use a build, you're pretty much stumping yourself, you're stumping your growth and progression of the game. There's 6 builds in the game: Heavy Strike, Clan Ship, Shadow Clone, Pet, Dagger and Gold Gun. If you're a new player and you've been watching my videos and guides, I have been suggesting using Clan Ship build. It's the most beginner friendly, steady and progression and farming build you can get for the game. So there's loads of tips and videos about how to use a clan ship. So you can search my channel or look at my previous videos for help on how to build a clan ship build. But you should be using clan ship if you are a beginner. So we select clan ship. Now your last hero is the strongest hero you reach near your max stage when no spells are activated. So spells are these active spells here. So once none of these are activated and you reached your highest max stage, that top hero, your most powerful hero at the top, would be the most highest hero. So this is Princess Faye, so I'll select her. And Ascension, once you level up all your heroes, what Ascension means is once you max out all your heroes, you can then level them again to make them stronger, but they get a border around their profile. So once all these heroes have been maxed out, their max level on the item is 6,000. Once they've reached level, once they've maxed out to level 6,000 on every single hero, you can then level them up again, but it will increase their power and it'll give a border around the item. Around their profile picture. So at the moment they've got no border, but once you do Ascension 1, I believe it's red, then blue, green, and it goes higher color. So each time you do that, that is 1 Ascension, 2 Ascension, 3 Ascension. You just select which Ascension you've achieved and into this box here. For split hero, there's different types of heroes. There's 2 different types. It's ground or flying. If you're not too sure, you can just select all, but the one way to find out is go to the highest hero, click on their profile, and it'll have an icon. If it's a wing, it's flying. If it's a ground, it'll have a rock. So that's a ground type. Our highest one is a flying type because it's got a little wing there. So that's how I know it's flying. So I select flying on this one. Gold source, you should know what gold source you're using with your build guide. If you're following a build guide, it should say which type. If you're not too sure which gold income source you got, majority of builds will either have Heart of Gold, Chesterton or Fairy. Majority of the builds use Fairy as the top one, that's most commonly used in builds as Fairy. To find out which one it is, just go to your skill tree and see which skill has the most skill points in. So for example, you can have this one, Will of Midas. This is Fairy Gold. It will say in the description so you know which one. So if I had the most skill points in Fairy Gold, I'll use that. The other one is Boss Gold, that's Heart of Gold. So if it most skill points in this one, I'll use that. This one, which is Chesterton Gold, and then last one, this one, which is Titans and Fairies, is Fairy Gold, as we mentioned earlier. So whichever has the most skill points in, you select that. I'm selecting Fairy because that's what my build's going to be going towards. Relic of BOS, 37%. So again, you go to your artifacts, go to your Books of Shadows. That's what BOS stands for. It's abbreviation for Books of Shadows. Lifetime relics. This is where the percentages, which I'll show you in a minute, is referring to this section here. Percentage of lifetime relics. This is a 39.38. So we just copy it in. I'm just going to put 39. Now the percentage of available relics used, so it's asking you what amount of your free relics you want to use to level up your artifacts. Now, I'll always keep this 100% because you don't want to bank any relics, you want to save any. So if you put 90, you use 90% of your relics and it will leave 10% behind. You don't want to do that. You want to use all your relics, so always keep it 100%. Durendal Push refers to the artifact Durendal, so I'll find that for you. There you go, Durendal Sword. Now this it increases damage to non-boss titans. What Durendal Push refers to is that if you have it active, it's meant to basically farm you quicker and do push through the stages quicker. So basically it's more of a push, more for the people who want to push through stages and progress more quicker. I've tried it with and without, and to be honest, I didn't notice any difference or hardly no difference whatsoever. I'll keep it on. If I've got the Durendal Sword artifact, which I have, I'll click it on. If you haven't, you can leave it off because it wouldn't make any difference anyway. So that's why I've got it on. Letter notation, so there's two different types. So letter is, as it says, so it's A, B, C. The higher the letter in the alphabet, the stronger it is. Now, a lot of people in the community use scientific notation. That's why I turned it off, because I prefer scientific notation. The only difference is that numerically it would have the power at the front and then E and then a certain amount of numbers after E. Now the numbers after E is just the amount of zeros. So E01 is 10, E010 is 10 zeros, E01000 is 1000 zeros. So obviously the higher the E, the higher the number, and that's how you work it out. It's totally up to you, it's your personal preference. I think it'd be more beneficial if you use scientific notation, so the numeric way, the number way, only because most of the builds, most of the tools, most of the community like Reddit, Discord use scientific notation. So if they post a screenshot or if they're talking to the community, they'll be mostly using the numeric way, scientific notation. So it'd be easier to get your head around it now than get confused by it later if it's brought up in a video or guide or tool. So I personally would use scientific notation, but early stages is all in numbers anyway, so you wouldn't have to worry about too much. Rounding around 3 digits, you can have it 1 digit, 2 digit, 3 digit. I'll keep it 3 digit because I like the largest number, especially at this stage. You can't really round it. You round it when you're at higher stages anyway. And hide excluded artifacts. Now I don't use this now because you need to know what artifacts you need to switch on and off, but once you've done all the artifacts, if you've imported it, it will do it automatically. If you haven't, this is the time to go to the right section to select what artifacts you have. So if the import button doesn't work, you unfortunately got to do it manually, but it doesn't take too long. All you need to do is go down the list. You can either hover over the acronym, which is abbreviation, a short version of what it is, and it'll tell you the full name, or you can just look at the picture. The picture lines up to exactly what the artifact is, and you simply just copy exactly what you have on your list. So you just copy yes if you have it, or leave it no if you don't. Once you've matched everything, then you can tick it to this, which gives you a basically just a more smaller Titan version of what your artifacts are. Now if you notice, my list is a lot smaller than 25 artifacts. Now the reason being is because this guide will not show you the quality of life artifacts. Now what we mean by quality of life is the ones that you can max out. So certain artifacts will have a kind of, yeah, there we go, a number total number after your level number. So that means I've got level 1 out of 30, meaning this Swamp Gauntlet is a quality of life artifact, which means it can be maxed out. The rest of the artifacts up here can't be maxed out. They go up. I'm not sure if they've got a cap level like 99999 or something like that, but far as aware, none of these ones have been capped out yet, and these are the guys that spend like hundreds or maybe thousands of pounds. They haven't capped out the artifacts yet, so I don't know what the in-game cap is, but it's extremely high. These you can level up tremendous amount, but these will be capped out. This can only level up to 30. These ones is between, I think, 20 and 40, so no, 50, so it goes higher. So it goes up to 50, so you can max these out. Now the reason they're not on the guide is because they're capped, so there's no point including them, because if you got them, simply when you've got the excess relics, just max them out. Just max them out when you can and ignore them. That's why they're not included in this, because you can just max it. That's what you need to do. Now on this, we've got to simply do is match the levels. So on this one, it's got Chest of Contentment. It says I should be at level 36, and the lifetime percentage should be at 5.98. So if I go to Chest of Contentment, let's have a look up here. There we go. So it says 27. I've actually got much more leveling to do. Should be at 36, and the percentage is way low. So lifetime relics is 1.71, and it should be up around about 6%. So it's telling me I need to level this up much more. Should be 36 now. If you start leveling it and you run out, the reason it's run out is because I have leveled this incorrectly. I've leveled items that I didn't need to level. So for example, let's give a good example of what I've done. Drunken Hammer. So Drunken Hammer is not on this, and I've leveled it up at level 5. So really, this guy's telling me that Drunken Hammer, if I was to unhide it and find Drunken Hammer, there we go. So it goes, yes, I've got it, but it's at level 0, so I shouldn't have any levels in Drunken Hammer, but I've put 5 levels in it, which means I've wasted artifacts in that. Now do not worry if you've done this, it does not matter. When you start leveling up and get further you get, these will start getting levels anyway, so don't worry about, you know, I need to reset it, I need to salvage it. Do not do that. It does not matter. Just keep doing your prestiges, keep doing your runs, and it will eventually will catch up. And then eventually, I don't know how long it take. It could take you 5 runs, it could take you maybe a couple of days, but eventually it'll catch up and it will start matching it very. Now this is, it's not perfect, it's the best we got, so there might be some differences in the numbers, like the percentages and the numbers, but it's the closest we can get. So if it's slightly out by a couple levels or the percentage doesn't quite match, do not worry. It's just a guide. It is not perfect, but it will provide you with the best damage. It kind of recommends based on formulas and calculations that you can possibly get for this game. So it's the best tool. It's quite simply easy to do. Once you've got this saved on your phone and you've updated it, it kind of catches the data, so it saves the data, and you generally just need to update the artifacts and this, and maybe tick on and off. Or even quicker, if you're using your mobile and you load up a web page, just import data and click import, and it updates anyway, which is fantastic. So it normally takes you like 5-10 minutes to update, and if you use it on the PC like BlueStacks, it's even quicker because you can just have it on a separate screen and just, you know, update it as and when. You don't have to be super stringent, and I personally don't update it every single run. I might update it every 2 or 3 runs. I definitely update it if I'm pushing in a tournament, because I need to make sure I'm optimized to push as much as possible. So if you do play the game a lot, you don't have to do it every single run. You can if you want to be that strict, but as I said, it's a general tool to give you the best option you can to level up. Now I hope this guide has helped you. I'll try to make it as straightforward and easy as I can, explaining every part, but if you've got any further questions, leave a comment below and I'll try to answer it as best I can. If there's any other tools or guides or optimizers you want to see, again, let me know. That's the best way to tell me what video to make next for you, is to comment. And if this helped, sub. It supports the channel and I love you for it. Apart from that, have a great day and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.